Well, two Thanksgiving services will take place in Cape Town today to acknowledge the recent good winter rains. The Western Cape's biggest dam and main water source for the Cape Metro and surrounding areas is overflowing for the first time in a decade due to good rains. Let me bring in now SABC News reporter Vanessa Poonah, who joins us now live. Vanessa, thank you very much indeed for coming through. Very good afternoon to you. So who's leading this special Thanksgiving service?
Yes, good afternoon to you. This Thanksgiving service here at the wall of the Theewaterskloof Dam, the biggest feeding Cape Town and the Western Cape really, was organised by a retired businessman called Louis Jordan. I spoke to him a short while ago. I was hoping to have him on camera, but he actually has to be part of the proceedings, which kicks off now promptly at 12 o'clock, just ahead of me. What I want to do is at the moment to tell you a bit about the history of this crippling drought that we've had over the past few years. This dam behind me, something with a square meter of something like 500 square meter coverage, in excess of 400 million cubic meters of water, I'm hoping I'm getting that correct, was basically in January 2018 literally going towards 13 and even under 13%. The last 10% of water was not even possible to take out of this dam. And let me step out of shot for a moment. I want my colleague Clinton Surf just to pan in to the dam behind me. You'll see that it is overflowing at this point of time, and that is exactly the reason why people from all walks of life, farmers, residents, as well as retired business people, have come out today to give thanks for what they call nothing short of a miracle. Now, joining me is the Western Cape Agriculture MEC, Dr. Ivan Meyer. Doctor, very warm good day to you. I'm sure that the agricultural sector, which was at its knees, so to speak, over the past few years due to the shortage of water, the shortage of rain, would be absolutely thrilled to see the site behind us today. Good water coming down over this winter rainfall period. And you are here today also to take part of this Thanksgiving event.
Absolutely. As you can see behind me, the dam is overflowing, and so is the heart of joy overflowing of all the farmers here in the Western Cape, but also the people of the Western Cape. We are deeply thankful for the good rains that we have here, because without water there's no agriculture. So today is a Thanksgiving service organized by the local community here in the Overberg region. This is a very, very important region for agriculture. This is the biggest agricultural export region here in the Western Cape, and I'm deeply thankful that this dam, which is a major dam in terms of the Western Cape water distribution network, a significant dam, and today our joy is overflowing as the dam is overflowing for farmers. This is significant. This is really a Thanksgiving Day for the good rain for agriculture in the Western Cape.
Now, Minister, we do know that Cape Town was on the brink of becoming one of the first cities in the world, major cities, to run out of water. The term day zero was something that was in everybody's lips. At some stage, water restrictions, restricting people to using 50 litres of water per day. Of course, just because we see this glorious mass of water behind us, I suppose your government would still at this point in time urge people to use the precious resource very, very carefully.
Well, what Day Zero has taught us here in the Western Cape is that water is a strategic resource. It is a limited resource, and we have to be permanently changing our behavior in terms of water consumption. What we have seen here in the Western Cape is that people have made significant changes in terms of the daily living conditions, in terms of the behavior of water. And I want to firstly, on behalf of the Western Cape government, thank the people of the Western Cape, because of their significant support and behavioral change made us to go through the difficult period of Day Zero. And so, although the dam is overflowing, we must continue to treat water as a scarce resource, because we still have large parts of the Western Cape. I have just come from the Matsikama region. There in places like Rietpoort and Bitterfontein, we know the Central Karoo still needs some rain. And so, although the dam is overflowing and we overflow for joy, we still have large parts of the Western Cape significantly captured by the deep drought that we have seen here in the Western Cape.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, MEC. I know that the program is just about to start just now. Of course, MEC for Agriculture in the Western Cape, Dr. Ivan Meyer, just talking to us very briefly there. I'm going to ask my colleague Clinton Cerf if it's possible to just follow me with the camera and just to show you exactly the number of people, not so many gathered here, but we do know that there's also the program is being followed online and via a local radio station. This, of course, behind me is the gathering of very grateful residents, people, farmers, business people that have come from all over this region to attend this Thanksgiving service in light of an overflowing Theewaterskloof Dam, which a few years ago saw levels dropping to below 13%.
Residents there in the Western Cape, Vanessa Poonah and Clinton Cerf. I was just wondering, before I let you go, Vanessa, any possibility of getting some reaction from the people sitting there behind you with regards to this good news, the overflowing of not only the rains but the joy?
Let me try and get some people to speak to. Good morning to you, ma'am. Sir, we're from the SABC. We're live on television at the moment. Just why have you decided to come out to take part of this Thanksgiving service?
Kan ek maar Afrikaans
Ja, jy
praat?
kan Afrikaans praat.
Dit is al wat ek kan sê, dit is net 'n voorreg en 'n seën om te kan sien die dam loop oor.
En watter area woon jy in hierdie area?
'n Vyeboom.
En oor die afgelope paar jaar, dis die volste wat julle ooit hierdie dam gesien het.
Ja, seker. Ja.
Bye, dankie. Of course, one resident there a bit shy today to speak to us, but yes, they've come out saying that they are indeed very blessed that this dam has reached these levels. And I want to show you again, so I am walking around a bit because I think this is definitely a sight for sore eyes. I'll step out of shot. Clinton Cerf can just have a close-up there of exactly the reason for this Thanksgiving service today. Theewaterskloof Dam overflowing, the first time in a decade. Three years ago, something like this was unimaginable, given one of the worst droughts in living history that crippled parts of the Western Cape. I do know that the agricultural sector was one that was particularly hard hit. I mean, we've spoken to some farmers, many of whom had to drastically cut their crops as well as trim down their vineyards over the period of time. And of course, a very welcome sight. Water is life, and Thanksgiving service taking place here in this region today.
Just get us caught up with regards to any water restrictions that still exist there in Cape Town, in the Western Cape in general. What's the situation, Vanessa?
Yes, water restrictions are still in place, and as we've heard the MEC saying just now, that even though we do have some dams, the majority of them actually looking like this here behind me, that still people need to save water now. We understand that although people are not using, or some of them are using more than the 50 allocated litres per day, of course that would have been increased as the restrictions came down over time as more water filled up in our dams. We do know that the current water tariffs have also been a question mark for very many Cape Townians. Now, we do know that the hydrological year ends at the 31st of October, the 31st of this month, and I suppose that's when municipalities, etc., will be discussing with the National Department of Water in terms of where to go to in terms of a rebate or a drop in water tariffs. But yes, we've heard from all the role players over the period of time that a precious resource such as water should not be wasted, should be looked after, and that certainly applies not just for the period, the tough period that we've gone through over the past few years, but also way into the future to sustain, to actually manage sustainable living in our country.
God bless the rains down in the Western Cape. Vanessa and Clinton, appreciate your reporting. Thank you very much indeed.